Good afternoon. I'll call the Board of Health meeting to order at 5:30 p.m. If everyone could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Before we get started, I just want to take a moment to welcome our new Board of Health member, Heather Arnold. She was recently elected last Tuesday and sworn in, last Monday, excuse me, to the Board of Health, and she was sworn in today. So thank you and welcome aboard, and you're gonna see how much fun it is. First up on the agenda is reorganization, which we're gonna table till next month, just due to the complexity of this meeting. So we've been asked to hold off. Okay, so before I get started on number 2, do I have anyone here from the Tobacco Alliance? Hi. Okay. What I'm going to have you two do is just come up and sit right here, introduce yourselves so we know who you are, and then I'll call up each person, and you can give me the overview, then we'll let them, and we'll go from there. Does that sound okay?
I'm Joan Hamlet, and I'm Director of the Boards of Health Tobacco Control Alliance, and I'm also the Dudley Tobacco Control Agent.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. We've heard a lot about you from Amanda, so it's very nice to meet you.
I'm Jody Briganti. I'm a tobacco control agent, and I am the one who did the inspections.
Perfect. Thank you.
We just have a couple of handouts to give
Sure.
the board before we get started.
Absolutely.
And where we have a new member, we're your designated tobacco control agents, and we do a minimum amount of inspections, and one of them is youth access to compliance, and that's what we're here for, we're here for flavor violations. We do a retail ed visit to the stores, and we work with the stores, and we provide multiple occasions of education so they know what products they can and cannot have in the store. So we're here today for violations of the retail ed, and it's the state law that says that you can't have any flavored tobacco products or flavored tobacco enhancers. And tobacco products by the state law is defined as any ingredient that you inhale and exhale in and out of a device regardless of nicotine content. And do you have a copy of the retail ed package? Mm-hmm. Okay. So I did want to just pass this out for the board, and we have a retail ed packet. This is this year's packet, but we've given a retail education packet delivered in person to every store in 2020, 21, 22, and now 23. So this is this year's packet, and it talks about some of the products that we're going to be talking about today.
Okay.
And this is the first time we went, which was 2020, and then the recent one in 2023 that has the signatures of the stores that they received the packet for their store.
Are we allowed to make copies of these?
Yes,
Of this?
yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
Because we just want to, we want to speak to, the purpose of public health is to help people come into compliance, not catch them in non-compliance. And in addition to hand delivering retail ed packets that outline in multiple letters and documents of what you can and can't have in the store, we also mailed these on 2 different occasions.
Okay.
We mailed them in 2020, June of 2020, and then we mailed them to every retailer on file, and we used the Department of Revenue email addresses given to us on their permits. So as valid as that was, the email and mailing addresses. So we've done in-person deliveries, mailings, and email deliveries of educational documents to help retailers understand what they can and can't have in their stores.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions for her before we proceed with our first one?
No.
Okay. So when I call your business, if you could just come up and identify yourself, and then we're going to go through what the violation is, and then we'll have a chance for you to respond to it, okay? So first up, we have Patriot Gas public hearing, 3rd tobacco violation. You can come have a seat. And if you can each just introduce so that Amanda can put it into the records.
Good evening. My name is Kim Crowa. I'm an attorney for Patriot Gas.
I'm Krishna Patel.
And Govind Patel.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'm just looking, we each have a copy of, so this was regarding an inspection done on April 26, 2023. And offering for sale a flavored tobacco product or tobacco product flavor enhancer. Correct? Okay. So,
So, oh,
go
do you
ahead.
want
No,
to?
by all means, go ahead.
So as you can see by the violation order, Jody, and she can speak to this in a minute, she entered the store and went in and did the retail ed. Part of the retail ed letter is asking for manufacturer letters. And whether you have a product that's legal or not, you cannot have it in your store without the manufacturer letter. And even if it's a product that's not flavored and you don't have a manufacturer letter, that's a $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 fine. We entered into this store and we've had 2 previous violations that they took responsibility for, so this made it, their 3rd violation in a 24 months. And on top, in the front of the order, it shows you the other violations. Sales to a minor were the other 2 violations. So this makes it their 3rd violation. And what they have is they have the cake brand products, and the flavors are Snow Cap and guava.
Bear with us just one moment. We're just making sure everybody gets a chance to look through everything. Okay? Yeah. Okay. Okay, no problem. Take your time. Okay, so you're here because you're appealing this violation.
Yes, thank you. And just to be more specific, the request for hearing and the appeal isn't necessarily the substance of this violation, but the qualification of it as a 3rd violation. There are, as was correctly pointed out, prior violations on the store. Those all relate to minors, though. And the act that talks about the flavored tobacco talks about how any violations of that act should be handled the same way as Section 6 under Chapter 270, but it doesn't necessarily say that they should be stacked. And where these are really different violations, they're entirely different bodies of law that lead to the issue that's here. We're asking that this be considered as a warning or a first violation. And I understand that normally not understanding the details of a law or a regulatory scheme is not typically a defense. But this was put into place right at the end of 2019. It became effective during the state of emergency for COVID. There has been some information out there, but it's been very difficult for the retailers to figure out what fits and what doesn't fit, and they truly believed that the vaping product that they had in their store was not something that was prohibited by the law. They were able to be sold by the manufacturer, and so they're not disputing necessarily the substance of this violation, but they are asking that it be treated as a first violation through either a warning that this board has done before or even the $1,000 fine without the suspension instead of the 3rd violation here, which was written up as a $5,000 fine and the regulations provide for a 7 to 30-day suspension, but was written up as a 30-day. And we really just don't think that that's appropriate in this circumstance where it really was a first violation. Even the prior times when people were in the store, there wasn't anything made of the flavored. It was a mistake, and they admit it, and they're willing to learn and make sure that it doesn't happen again. But we are asking that it be treated as a first violation.
Joe, do you have information for us?
We just want to, when this law went into effect, the state went and did extensive training, and they trained us along with state inspectors. So a local inspector will enforce this, and so will the state. Everybody in the state is tolling them on each other. It's not, you get 3 chances for the flavor, 3 chances for the manufacturer letter, and 3 chances for the flavor. So while I respect how she's looking at it, that's not how it's been applied or how we were trained for it. So if you have 1 year a youth access, 1 year nicotine over the 3%, and 1 year the flavor, those are 3 violations that they do toll, whether you call it tolling or stacking, they do toll on each other. I just did want to say, yes, the pandemic created a lot of chaos for everybody. Everybody was doing the best they can during COVID, but in 2019, a packet of information was mailed by the Department of Revenue, the Governor's Office, and the Attorney General's Office to every single retailer that was in business at the time. In addition, we did a hand delivery of that packet as soon as we became, June 1st, 2020, Dudley became one of our towns. In the month of June and July, we went to 44 towns and hand-delivered the information packet on top of that to make sure. And then we put it in the mail. And we did that during COVID, and we did it in 2021, 2022, and 2023. We also have ourselves accessible. We do these inspections on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We do them between like 9 and 3 o'clock when it's more likely a manager or an owner is accessible or will be there. We leave our name, our number. If you have any questions, contact us if you have any questions about any product. But the number one thing that all the training has said since June 1st of 2020, if you do not have a manufacturer letter for anything that you inhale and exhale through a paper cone, pipe, or electronic device, you cannot have it in your store, regardless of if you think it's flavored or it's not flavored. So we just have to, I know where we go from here is going to be up to the board, but we just have to, protect our process and protect what we've done. And as you can see, you have a signature where this packet was delivered on April 26th and 27th in Dudley. And for this particular store, Patriot signed for it on 4/26, and it says that the owner signed for it. And in that, we had a business card with my direct cell phone line to call me if there was any questions, if they didn't understand anything in the packet or had any concerns, and everything was thoroughly explained. And if you look in the packet that I gave you, there's a 1-page letter dedicated to specifically to vape. So we feel like the education was there, and we don't know what more we could have done to educate them. And we do want to state for the record, nobody feels good about these violations, but there's been a significant amount of education. And when this happens, we have an iPad issued to us by the state. We have a GPS tracking that tracks us satellite time to the store. We open it up and we have to say what happened, and we have to report back to the state what the outcome was. So the board's responsibility is, if they believe the violation happened, move forward with a responsible finding unless there's an error in the protocol or an error in the procedure, which there isn't any in the processing of this order. So we are going to have to strongly recommend a responsible finding. And the reason why we do 30 days, there is a little bit of leeway. When it comes to sales to minor, there isn't. But when there is flavor, you are correct. There is a leeway in the board. However, it states in the law, you can't do less than, but you can do more than, and you have to use what's in your local reg. So your local regulation says when somebody has a violation of 30, we use 30. If you didn't have a local regulation that said that, we would have used probably a medium amount. But you can do more. We do have boards that give 60 days and 90 days at the third, because your regulation allows you to do more. So we felt we needed to stay consistent with what you've had in your regulation, because prior to the state law, those were the penalties you were issuing people who came before you for a 30-day third violation at this time.
I do remember the last time when we had a representative here, they did explain that as well, that we had the minimums, so we have to do. So do you have any questions?
If I could just respond to one thing on the education piece also. The education piece was handed out on 4/26, but the violation was also issued on 4/26.
But I do have a signature back in July of 1920.
we were just showing it's been given 4 years in a row.
I have a
so.
signature from July of 2020 that they were given the same information.
The violation was issued on May 10th.
Yeah.
So
Okay, I have it as,
I'm just
So
going to
this
ask
is the
you.
this is the
Excuse me. I'm just going to ask that you direct everything through the board up here. Roberta, do you have questions?
I just wanted to know on the delivery paper here. It says that, you, on the back here, where they had to sign that they received it. So where it says, flavor, yes, no, some people put no, some put yes, manufacturer letter, yes, no, some put yes, some put no. That just means, and I guess I don't know, they didn't have it, but they had time to get those things to be compliant? Is that just what they had the day you delivered it?
Flavor
Is that-
means there was a flavor, yes, no, under flavor means they found flavor, which means you're in violation. Manufacturer letters mean, no, they did not have the manufacturer letter, but we do give them 3 business days to produce
get it?
them.
Okay.
Because often we go to a store and it's a new clerk, or the manager left, this happened to be the owner this day, but he did not have manufacturer letters. We give 3 business days to produce them, and if they don't produce them to us within 3 business days, it constitutes another violation. What we don't do is stack a violation within. So if I go to a store and he has flavor, and he has no manufacturer letters, it would be 1 violation. And if they sell a flavored product to a minor, we would check off both boxes, and it would be a 1 violation. It's if it's a separate visit, or there's a local violation with a state, meaning if they had this flavored product and we notice a blunt wrap and you have a blunt wrap ban, there would be a local violation and a state. Those are the only time there's like a stacking in the same visit.
Do you have any questions?
No.
So I have just a couple. This is all regulated by the state, in the sense that the state set these regulations, the state set all the rules and everything back in 2019. That's when we were informed of them. I know you weren't here. Do you recall being informed of all of this with the, okay. So, I understand it was during a pandemic. We were dealing with a pandemic as well, and we still had to find out all the information, learn about it, so that we could go forward with it. What is your feeling?
There was talk about 60, what do you mean by 60 days? So right now, meaning the fine has to be paid either 30, 60, or
No,
what does that
I was
mean?
just pointing out, some boards do
Gotcha,
more.
got it.
We go by your local reg. So if your local reg said 20 days, it would be 20 days. If your local reg said 30 days, it would be 30 days. The state has in there for flavor a range of days you can use. You can't do less than the bottom range. For example, a sale to a minor is a range of 1 to 7 days on a first offense. You can't do less than 1, but you can do more than 7 if your local reg says so. So we took Blackstone's local reg for this violation and picked what you put for your 3rd violation, and your 3rd violation is 30 days, and that's within the range that the state offers.
And it's a $5,000 fine.
Yeah, and we also, when the lower Central Mass boards joined us, there was 14, we sent a group email to every board saying to be consistent and keep things consistent in the area. Everybody, we're gonna do 3, 7, and 30 unless you contact us and notify us otherwise. We've had other Dudley hearings, and I have minutes from the last Dudley hearing.
We did 7 days for the second.
Yeah, so this hearing was with 2 other stores, and they're both here tonight too. That was on April 26, 2022. So we have, there is a history here of upholding the state reg within your local reg.
If I can follow up on the regulatory question. Just following up again, it's on the substance versus the interpretation of the violation. This board does have discretion to treat it as something other than a 3rd violation under the regulations.
So the way that I interpret the regulations is that it's selling to a minor, selling flavored, they all fall under 1. This is why they're here. If you sold to a minor, and then, this is just my interpretation, and then you sell a flavored, it's still another violation. It doesn't matter, you're still violating the law that's been put in place. They may be different categories, but it's still a violation, and it still is within a short amount of period. They give you 3 violations within 36 months. We're talking 3 violations within 24 months. So, and I understand that one of them is different than the other 2, but it's still again, this is just me, a violation of the rules and regulations that are set forth.
And I can appreciate that. I guess where I am seeing this one a little bit different is that it was the first occurrence of this particular. I would agree
So,
with you if
let me
it,
ask you, if it was the first occurrence of selling to a minor, should we be gracious too? I don't see it the same. I see it as it's all a violation. It doesn't matter if you, and again, this, I'm talking just for myself, not you, can gladly. I see it as it's still a violation of the law. You know, it doesn't matter what you did, you violated the law. And the law says all are included. I understand that they're different things, but it's still a violation of the law. And that's just, again, you're more than happy to say anything, tell me how you feel.
Yeah.
That's just how I feel.
no, I understand that, and I think in comparison, a violation of selling to a minor is pretty clear cut. Here, it's trying to figure out what falls in.
It's a flavored tobacco product. It's
And the education was given.
several times.
On the same, well, the one that's been talked about here was given actually a minute
The
after
one
the
that we
violation
have
is logged.
was also, we have every year, we have signatures that it's been given yearly. And anyone who is in Massachusetts knows it's against the law to sell flavored tobacco in Massachusetts. That's why everybody goes to Connecticut. You know, it's the honest truth. So, and a flavored tobacco product is something that has flavor in it. It's not just a plain tobacco product. So I guess I'm not seeing the gray area with a flavored tobacco and a non-flavored tobacco.
Yeah, and I believe some of the gray area came in with the vaping, not under, you know, if it was a menthol cigarette, then that's a little bit more clear cut. But the vaping is what I understand to have caused some confusion with this particular item that was in the store.
I just still think it's the same. We don't sell any flavor, nothing flavored in Massachusetts. So, you know,
You want to say something too?
Certainly.
Yeah. Yeah, I know I know you're saying that, they found did you find more than 2 items in the store? No,
We
right?
found two items.
Yeah, 2 items. So they didn't find anything like where we were hiding something? Was it
on the shelves.
hidden? It was on the shelf, right? So if you were hiding something, it was something probably, there's so much. I own more than multiple store in town, in the different towns. And every town, from the town, when the inspector come or somebody comes from the tobacco department, every one of them has different opinion. Even though same person comes in today, and after 3 months they come back, and when I ask them some question, and they're like, oh, I think you can carry that. Or one day they said, no, you cannot carry. Or one day they said you can carry, and then next time when they come in, they said you cannot carry. And
So
with the vape and all that, let me just finish.
Yeah.
With the vape and everything, is so many product out there. I know how many stores sell menthol in Massachusetts, especially Worcester. When people,
okay, I don't care about that.
No, I know.
care about your store, and I
know.
care about the Tobacco Alliance,
yeah.
which regulates
So I'm just saying
our
from my
board.
side,
So you might have
I'm not
stores in
selling.
another town that are regulated by a health inspector,
Yeah.
not the Tobacco Alliance.
What I'm saying is we were not hiding that stuff or anything. It was over there.
Yeah.
So we even though we try to learn so much, whatever we go on the computer. Sometimes with my English and all that, I don't understand. Sometimes we even tell my kids to sit down with us, go in the computer, go through, and try to explain our, all the rules. And I mean, maybe they're still 17, 18 years old. I mean, whatever they can search, they also tell us do this, do this. So this is something we were not hiding. I mean, I understand you saying it was a violation. I mean,
Right.
that's. I think that's, I understand about selling. My employee made a mistake selling to minor. That's, that's definitely, we tell, and every time I call my employee all the time with the liquor store I own, every day I tell them, check ID, check ID. But the people these days, they'll stay on the phone and sometimes they forget, or I don't know how they make mistakes. But I think this shouldn't be punished for 1 month because see, we already not selling menthol in Massachusetts, and my gas station is right next to the border. We already lost 40% of the business on tobacco, everything like flavor and all that, and $5,000 fine and 1 month suspension is gonna kill my business.
I do apologize, and I completely understand, we're not here to hurt businesses, but if we, and again, I'm not, but if we don't follow through with things that the state sets for us, then it becomes you're picking and choosing who gets what. If we follow what the state regulations are and the guidelines are there, then there's no issue. We're doing what the state requires us to do.
No, I understand that, which is, we do too. That's why we're not selling any more menthol cigarette or anything, or the cigarette. It's just,
You can't sell any flavored vape
no, I
either.
understand that, I know that, but I don't know how we had that. Maybe it came with the Core-Mark or, the cigarette people where we, sometimes we order, sometimes we have managers, employees order too. Or sometimes salesman comes in, they do their own order. So we try to watch as much as we can, but if something like, it was not hide somewhere hidden or anything.
and I
It was like right
appreciate
there.
that.
So what she said was like, selling to minor, and these, I think, should be two different, violation maybe,
can
maybe we
appreciate
should,
that.
like, I have a store in Auburn, and I remember one day I had a platform behind the counter, and somebody found Al Capone cigarette under fell down in there, and they'll put it on the counter. And it was just sitting there, and I didn't even know, I go to the store, but not watch everything every moment. But they found one, and they didn't, that day, that lady came and she told me, I don't know if maybe they could be one of them, but they
And
just said, throw this away, and we throw it in the trash, and it was expired too, it says on the back,
And I appreciate that. Unfortunately, the responsibility of any product that you put out is your responsibility. You need to be aware if it's a flavored vape or not. The responsibility falls on you. It's not fair. You have other employees, and I understand that. You're trying to run a business, but it's not our responsibility. We've worked with the Tobacco Alliance. They're educating you. You've been around long enough that you can't sell flavored in Massachusetts. You know that you've lost a lot of sales because you're right on the Connecticut border, which I'm sure there are many others in town as well. And it's tough when you're a bordering town. But we're given certain standards and regulations that we have to think about when we make decisions. And when things are set by the state, we have to have an extremely good reason to ever go against the state, because it's not something that you do. The rules and regulations are set there by the state. That's what, as a Board of Health, we're here to enforce.
No, I understand that too, but when they said menthol banned and all that, you won't believe how many, stuff we took it out from the sale for each store, almost maybe $15,000 to $20,000 worth of product. We tried to send it back to the people who took it, and some people didn't took it, and we had to throw away in the trash, which is we did, and we make sure that we do the day before when the trash guy comes, so it's not like people
Right.
jumping in the kids, jumping in the trash can and getting it. So it's not like something we try to sell these, that's what I'm saying,
No, and I
and
completely-
I think a town should understand, especially with the being borders town, I think town should understand and, not make 30 days, I'm not saying like.
Unfortunately, the 30 days is in the town of Dudley's rules and regulations, which we cannot go against. Those were bylaws that were set up by the town many years ago, and we have to abide by them. If the board votes in favor of this, it has to be a 30-day suspension. We cannot do less than that, because that's what the town of Dudley bylaws say for the.
But they can
intense
keep
smoking.
two separate violations though, right? Maybe,
Something that we're
it's-
gonna discuss right now, because
that's my request.
we just have, so,
Tobacco and onto the chair.
right, yep.
I just wanted to, if you look at the violation order on May 10th on the top page, I just wanted to point out that on 2/23/21, they received a warning for flavor enhancer. So it goes to show that
There was,
the
yeah.
education was back there in 2/23/2001 because they received a warning. There was also a sale to a minor within the same inspection, and they both were given a warning. So that's a significant break. Because this would be a second $5,000 fine and a permanent revocation hearing opposed to.
The third violation. Okay,
Correct.
so,
I
ladies,
think we were pretty lenient the first couple of times.
So-
I have to agree.
okay, so do you want to enter it in a motion?
Where is it? Where's the motion, the wording, the verbiage right here?
Yeah, the third violation.
I make a motion for the third violation, just read it off.
Mhm.
Within a 36-month period from the first violation or additional violations during that time, with a fine of $5,000 and a permanent suspension of 30 days, as required by state law, or for a longer term as promulgated in a local regulation, but we'll do the 30.
Yes.
A separate permanent suspension or we're attached, no, I don't need to read that.
So I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Do we have any other discussion on that?
I guess really, I just want to make sure at this point with the suspension, how will you guys educate yourselves to make sure this doesn't continue to happen? You know, we don't want you to keep coming to us. We don't want to see this, right? That's
No.
not what we want to do, but, you know, the data's here, the evidence is here that they provided the education. We've sat in on the trainings and, you know, we've listened to the folks come here, so like, how can you make sure, I know the last time, I'm not sure if it was your store, there was talk about getting those
Right.
scanners for the license, like,
For the
so
underage.
that's a great thing for the underage, but like, how do you make sure this doesn't happen, like, just to, so we don't have to.
I mean, like I said, you know, we,
Horrible, but we have to do this, you know, and I just wanna make sure that you understand, like, and I know you're not always there from what you said,
Right.
but is it, maybe you just have to do a very good, detailed, you know, you have to look at everything that was ordered. Maybe you have to do it hand in hand with your manager or your supervisor, I don't know, but, like, I'm hoping that,
believe me, we try the best, and that's why we have kids, they go on the computer and try to search us. I think the states, I have suggestion for state too, you know, I know they keep popping everywhere, they're going, checking everything. They should have some kind of seminar somewhere where they can invite all the business owner people, what they, you know, they never done, you guys never done that, anything like that, right? Educate people, like you just give out people and say learn yourself. I think they should have something kind of where they, you know, invite something, you know, somewhere, or each town, go to town hall or somewhere, bring the people and what they can sell and not sell.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I will.
We don't, the rules change every month and everything, so we can't just keep up with, like, we don't have to just follow only tobacco only, we have to follow all the other, you know, rules
Thank
and
you.
regulation too.
That's
so.
something that after our meetings and everything, I'll speak with them about, absolutely. So we have a vote, we have a motion and a second. Ready to take a vote? All in favor? Aye. Passes unanimously. When will the suspension begin? Do you know?
Usually recommend on a 3 and a 7 day, the next period. This is a 30-day, so it would be July 1st through July 30th, and they can resume on July 31st, and it would start on a Saturday. And then, you know, typically it's 3 business days to pay the fine. You know, and during this appeal process, there's been a break to
Correct.
kind of get ready to pay that fine. The board has an option, you did mention, a 30-day suspension is going to be extremely costly, so you could extend that. You know, typically they get 21 days to pay, so you could extend that 3 business days to give them a little bit longer to come up with the money to pay. I mean, we usually recommend, you know, 10 days or whatever, but this is, you know, it's not that, it's a $5,000 fine.
We will give you 21 days to pay the fine. Okay? Thank you. Okay, item number 2, quick stop public hearing, 3rd tobacco violation. Okay. Have you come forward and identify yourself, please? Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so I have, April 27th, there was a violation of sale for flavored tobacco product. And let me just look. So we had, sweet. Yep, okay. So same, well, different products, but same situation. And this is your 3rd violation. And what is your name?
My name is Jenny Nguyen.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not here to dispute third violation. The first 2 violations, we did it. We didn't appeal because it's our fault. And this one is because we order it from Walmart, which is one of the biggest wholesaler. And I contacted the rep, and I have the letter from the manufacturer stating that this is in fact it is certified that high tea, non-tobacco wrap, or made from non-tobacco herbal leaf. So I feel like we're not directly at fault for
So-
selling this.
Unfortunately, unless you're, so even though your distributor says that it's not, it still falls under the regulation of the state that it is flavored. So regardless of what the manufacturer says and the distributor, if it falls under the state's flavored, because it's a flavor wrap,
I can speak to that. That's not a manufacturer letter, that's a California distributor letter. So that's not from the manufacturer, these are manufactured in Brazil, and that is not a manufacturer letter. So Cormac got, because we spoke with the retail manager of all of Cormac, because they're a national distributor, and they separate their stuff. This can go to Massachusetts, this can go to Rhode Island, this can go to Connecticut. And what, they got that letter from a California distributor who sells it to them, who they sell it through. And it is a non-nicotine, non-hemp. There's a little issue with hemp wraps, if there's another whole issue there. And it is definitely falls under a restricted flavor enhancer, because you can't have a flavored product or a flavored enhancer. So even though there's no nicotine or tobacco,
Right.
hemp or anything in here, it's an enhancer, like a flavored paper. We do have education on that. At this particular point, that letter, we contacted that company, and they're not the manufacturer, so it's an invalid letter. So it's the same thing as having no letter at all. From a retailer perspective, I can understand that it gets confusing. But, we're out there saying that you can't have any type of flavored wrap. And lots of times what happens is companies try to put through, strawberry banana is now Sunset Haze. These are clear mango, juicy grape. So these are obvious red flags that you cannot have these products. And, we've had fake manufacturer letters where we contact the companies and they say, we don't even manufacture that product, and it's somebody's letterhead and a president name. So if you do a quick Google, it matches, but then you call the company and ask about the product, they don't even rep or sell the product or make it. So, again, we caution retailers, to be very careful, making sure. Distributors can help you get the letters, but it's your job to make sure that it's a real manufacturer letter.
and that it's legal in the state of Mass.
Yeah, so our recommendation would be, for equity issues to have the same finding.
Well, can I say something? I mean, I understand that, but this is the new law, so it's very confusing for us. So every time we try to buy things from the big wholesaler, so that would be, I guess, safe. We don't buy from on the street or anything like that. So this is on the flyer, and the rep assure us that it's non-tobacco, although it says the flavor on it, but it says non-tobacco. So that's why we order it in, not realizing that it's illegal, because there's so many products, and we're just a small store, And I feel like the 30 days is too much. It's gonna kill us.
And
I understand, but it's just
understand.
so much.
If you're not related to Quick Stop, no, unfortunately. Excuse me, sir, no, we deal with one at a time, okay? No, that's okay, thank you. So.
I just feel like, I understand, it's just so many things that we have to learn, and there's so many products. And then once we see it on the flyer of a Cormark, it's a big wholesaler, we're like, oh, okay. So we just check with the rep, you sure this is fine? And they're like, oh, yeah, it's fine.
And unfortunately, they're gonna tell you yes, because they wanna make the sale to you.
Yes, so I figure if it's illegal to sell, then it should be illegal for them to sell in the mass in the first place.
And I
So
don't dispute
just
that,
asking.
that's just beyond us.
I know, I'm just saying, it's like, we're not directly at fault, although, so you can maybe lessen the fine or the penalty for us.
24.
Okay, so, what's your pleasure?
I just want to let you know, we're in the state database, and they received a warning on 3/24 of 2022, 23. A month before this, they received a warning on
Okay,
that they can't have flavored products.
thank you. Ladies?
I have to agree with the same, we're doing it for one, we do
Yep.
it for the other.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Want me to make a motion?
Yep.
Heather, do you wanna try? You want me to do it? I'm gonna make a motion, move forward with the third violation within a 36-month period for the first violation or additional violations during that time, with a fine of $5,000 and a permit suspension of 30 days, business days, 30 business days as required by state law, or for a longer period, but we're gonna stay with the 30 days, correct?
30 days and 21 days to pay the fine.
21 days for the fine.
I have a motion, do I have a second? Excuse me? Can we keep the chatter down? Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, but if this goes on like this, how are we gonna know? I mean, there's so many information that, we can know every single product. It's so new to
Right,
us.
and I think the gentleman, the guys before
He
you,
had an
they talked
excellent
about
point.
that seminar, so when our meeting is done, we'll definitely talk with them and see if
Yep,
there's
and if
some
we can get some
education.
information out to you, or if there will be something, we will let you know. Absolutely.
And I did just want to point out for clarification for you, when you asked, when we were there a month earlier, it specifically says high tea, juicy grape, king palm, watermelon wave. So on 3/24, it was discussed with the owner, Jeannie, is that you?
Me,
Jenny?
yes.
You were the person that she spoke with, and this is the notes in the state database, and it clearly says that she asked you to remove those products and you were given a warning a month before this, and she did the re-inspection, and then you still had the products out. So she spoke with you directly, telling you can't have them, and she names them specifically: high tea, juicy grape, mango, mad melon, mango dream, and tiki tango.
Yeah, she came in when the first day of the violation, and then everything was covered up. So the day she came back was the day we just took them off, and we did throw a lot of things away.
I mean, Jody would have to
So-
speak to that, because she was there.
And I apologize, we have to keep moving, I have more public hearings, so if that's something that you need to discuss with them after the fact, we'll get you in contact with them, absolutely, that's not a problem. Up next, we have West Main Liquors, excuse me. We have two, there's one more after that. And this is the second tobacco violation. If you could just tell me your name, please?
My name is Bharat Patel.
Okay. And let's see, it's the same, let me just put it down. Juicy grape, royal sweet, mango dream, mad melon. Yep, it's the same as the last one before. Okay, and this is your second, so this would be different. Okay, so, you're selling the same product as the other, that it cannot be sold in the state of Mass.
But my question is, the vendor has a letter from the.
That's not a letter, unless someone.
Why the vendor has the letter from the manufacturer to sell is good for the
they-
Massachusetts state?
They say
If
right
it is
in it that it's.
allowed to Massachusetts state, it says.
Excuse me, if you don't let me ask questions, we're not gonna get anywhere.
Okay.
Thanks. Does it state right in it that it says, the state of Massachusetts, these are an approved product to sell?
Yeah, this is the state, they say Massachusetts state allowed to sell the
Again,
product.
that is from the distributor?
It's a larger distributor.
It's
who's-
from the manufacturer. Listen to me. They asking for the manufacturer letter to allow to state whatever it is sell. They ask us the letter right before. What is the manufacturer letter to allow in a state? So this is the letter from the manufacturer. It's allowed to the state.
Is that the manufacturer or the distributor?
Manufacturer.
The distributor, it says
This
right
is
on
the
it,
manufacturer
distributor.
letter.
It says distributor.
It's the manufacturer letter, not distributor.
Okay, it says right on it,
Yeah, it says.
Paycheck International and
Yeah, it's the manufacturer.
International Distributor. is what it
International
says on it,
distributor.
yes.
Yeah, but it's
But I will-
distributor. Whoever distributor is sell, it's allowed.
But,
It
so,
doesn't meet the components of the letter, and it says that it verifies that it's that there's no tobacco, no nicotine in it. It does not verify, it verifies it's tobacco-free, nicotine-free, and hemp-free.
Yeah.
And they're manufactured from herb leaves from Brazil, imported into United States by Craytrek International, Inc., which is the distributor.
But it says-
However, so there's confusion, a manufacturer. and
That's confusion to them.
things, but it does not verify that it's not flavored, so it's missing the component of the Massachusetts
Correct.
manufacturer letter. It does not verify anywhere in this letter it's not flavored. It just verifies it's not a tobacco product, it's not a nicotine product, and it's hemp-free. So there's nothing in here that verifies that it's flavored 3, and that's a component of the letter. And in the retail ed packet, we provide a copy of the manufacturer letter component.
this is the confusion, so we don't know.
A retailer is supposed to, any product they want to sell, they need to give this to the distributor and say, I need a letter from the manufacturer, or they have to call the manufacturer themselves. And any legitimate manufacturer that does business in Massachusetts is aware that they have to do this to bring their product into
Okay.
here.
Is
So
that
this
the letter that you're
manufactured by a
talking about?
company in Brazil.
It's in the packet that she
Is that
has.
the letter here that is checked off yes or no, that you,
Okay,
On this
so.
one, we had to do research because it appeared to be a letter, and then we had to do the research and then do the fine print on that, so.
So, your distributor is saying that, yes, it's okay for
It's
you to
say-
sell. That, they're saying that, yes, it's okay to sell.
Okay to sell, but they, Lowell Board of Health cancelled this violation in the Lowell Board of Health. Webster already cancelled this violation, so how the Dudley can cancel?
It is,
I already asked my sales rep from the core mark, Webster already last week, they cancelled this violation, and also the Lowell Board of Health, same violation, same product, cancelled the violation, so how Dudley can cancel this violation?
because we are our own Board of Health.
Also,
and
they Board of Health too.
they're a different.
They state. You following the rules from the state, they following rules from the
Again, if you do
state.
not let us speak,
Okay.
we're gonna move on.
No, go ahead. Are you gonna speak?
No, that's fine.
So.
Fine,
this is
I say
the
that
second offense?
three Board of Health already
Make a motion
did that, so.
for the second violation within your 36-month period from the first, a fine of $2,000 and a possible permit suspension of 7 days as required by state law, or for longer term. We're gonna keep this, we're gonna keep the 7 days.
Correct. That's our minimum for second offense. And $2,000 and what's it, 21 days?
Yes.
21 days. So I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a second. I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Passes unanimously. I apologize, we're being consistent across the board. What any other town does not concern us. It concerns what the town of Dudley has for tobacco violations and what we do with it. If another Board of Health does something differently, they have that decision.
But
We
they go for the state
We have
law.
certain bylaws that we have to abide by, and that's what we're doing.
No, but-
Thank you for your time. Have a good night. We're moving on.
I'm sorry, I just want to clarify, we're going to set the suspension for July 1st through the 7th, resuming on the 8th?
Yes, same time.
What is the, when you give me
Excuse
the
me?
notice for this?
Excuse me?
One
No,
second.
Excuse me, sir. I am done. We have another hearing to hear, and we have another meeting in this room at 6:30.
No,
so we
but
have to
when you
move
give me
on.
notice for this, before that, I want to,
can speak
warning
with her
notice, give me for this warning notice.
Excuse me.
I want to ask you warning notice.
Excuse me, you can speak with her after the meeting?
So
She has the time.
that make me to change your decision, because they no give me warning notice, so you have to
Sir?
change decision.
Sir, please, we're moving on to the next. If I can have, let's see, State Line
You
Farms.
know, give me the warning notice, so you have to change your decision.
Sir, one more time. I will ask you to leave. Thank you. Sorry.
I want to see the warning notice for this.
You can have a seat, and after we're done this next hearing and we've completed our meeting. Hi, can I have you give your name, please?
Vanita Patel.
Thank you. And this is for State Line Farms. Let's see, it was April 26th, offering the sale of flavored tobacco. Second violation, let me just take a look. What ones are we? I can't see this one. Are they flavored cigars?
Yes, they are.
I can't quite see.
They are.
Thank you. Okay. let me just look. Previous violations. Warning. Okay, so back in February 12th of 2022, you were given a warning of selling a product flavor enhancer. And now this time you're getting a second violation for selling flavored tobacco, flavored cigars, flavored tobacco. So you understand that it's against the law in Massachusetts to sell flavored tobacco. So this would be a violation. Lost my page. So it would be a 7-day suspension with a $2,000 fine.
Can I talk something? Can I say something?
Absolutely.
So actually, the first time when they came in, my father was working at, and he didn't really speak English that well, and I didn't have no idea if they came in or not. And the second time when we got it, I got the letter, and then I came to town hall right away. Then I talked to J. Pollops, our distribution, and I talked to them, and they said they sold it to us, right? I understand we had so many, so I'm not going to argue. And then this is the letter they give it to me, that we could sell it, but I removed right away. I talked to somebody, I don't know, did I talk to you on the phone?
You did, because
Okay.
we were on February 12th, 2022, it was these exact products that we talked about and explained to you why you had to remove them. And then, and this was, in that inspection, it was the Fusion products, and it was VISHNIS Patel is who we spoke to at that inspection.
What was the name?
This is the employee that, I'm in the state database right now. So this was the employee.
Okay, yes, and did you left the letter same time?
We spoke and said that it had to be removed, and we gave a warning. And then we received a phone call after, and we explained, because the Dream Fusion line at this particular time has a manufacturer letter, and manufacturers update their letters. So you might have one, a retailer might have one from 2020, but there's a new one for 2022 and 2023. And a Board of Health has the right to challenge a product on the manufacturer letter. And we received multiple complaints from over 14 schools that they were confiscating these Fusion products from kids. So we did, there's a state guidelines on how to test a product to determine if they're flavored, even if they're on a manufacturer letter. So we followed all those steps, and we determined that the Dream Fusion line was flavored, and Dream Fusion, the makers of this contacted us, and we removed it from 44 communities in the end of 2020, beginning of 2021, and they never filed suit. So there is a distributor that can sell it, there is a letter, and some boards have acknowledged that it is a flavored product and some have not. However, in our 2021, 2022, and 2023 letter, and as we explained when they had these products in their store in February 2022, there's a letter that explains, and it's the second page of the packet, that explains that they cannot have these products. And we have signatures for the stores that they received these letters. So it's very specific to the Dream Fusion line, and we even highlight it in yellow.
Okay.
And this was explained, then at the time. I do want to let you know that we do in our inspections, if we encounter any type of situation, we do ask owners if there's language equity issues that we can address for them. And at any time, if we feel that there is a situation where we're not being understood or we're not able to communicate and convey, we mark it in the database, and then we use resources to convey information in a proper language. We have had no notations of a language. It doesn't mean that one doesn't exist, but we've had no notations or requests from the store. And we have, many other stores have requested things in multiple different languages. We have not ever received a request from this store for that. And, in the one phone call that I had, I don't know if Jody has had any retail calls, there didn't appear to be, there was no request, and there didn't appear to be.
Okay.
So, so did I talk to you last month? I don't know. It was you or somebody called me? No.
I don't recall, but we do keep a call log. But I don't
Okay,
have
because
it.
they called me because I didn't appeal it, but which I appeal it Do you
Okay, yeah,
remember?
yeah, I did.
That was you?
Yeah, I did call, because, you hadn't paid it and you didn't appeal it, so we didn't know what your.
Yes.
We wanted to know, it was me.
It was you,
Yeah, and
right?
we did talk about it.
And then I even say sorry because it was like big mess.
Yes,
like,
yes,
you know, I felt really guilty about it. And I told her I'm not going to sell it anymore. And my father didn't really speak English. He has only one store and he lives on that. And he doesn't have no violation at all. If you see 10 years he's been working at that store, if you see his record, it's clear. And he works hard for that. I'm like, you know.
No, and we understand that,
Yeah.
and we're put in a difficult situation, unfortunately. It's not, this is like, I would say probably the worst part
For us too.
of
And
the
it was like
job.
all misunderstanding, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He didn't understand that. And he took it out right away. As soon as we found out this part, and I went in and I pulled it out, all the products, and I promise you, now on, we don't like to do anything illegal. That's us. Like, we like to follow the rules.
Okay.
So please, if you could help us out, that'd be nice. He's just,
We're being consistent.
I know, but we don't have no violation. I'm like, we being clear record, obviously,
And
if you.
we understand that, it's
See.
the second violation, we're being consistent so that nobody can say anything, we're following the rules and regulations. And unfortunately, it is a difficult thing that we have.
But every store is different situation. My is different situation too. A
In all
little.
reality, yes, they may be to you, but to us, it's either a violation or not violation. What number violation? We have to think of everybody as the same. If we thought of everybody differently, we can't do that. This is why we have to treat everyone the same. Did you wanna?
Yeah, I'll make a motion. For the second violation, within a 36-month period from the first violation, a fine of $2,000 and a possible permit suspension of 7 days, to be paid in 21 days.
Starting on the same date as the previous.
That's July 1 to 8, excuse me.
Yes. Do I have a second? Second. I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Passes unanimously. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, moving on to our next, excuse me, our meeting's not done yet, okay? Give me a couple more minutes.
I have one question before I leave. I just want to make sure where we send a check.
You'll send it to the Dudley Board of Health.
Okay.
It's the Dudley Board of Health.
And then what was the date we're going to stop selling it? I just want to make sure we understand.
July
7 days,
1st.
it's 7 days, so it's
July 1st.
July
Tuesday.
1st through this Friday is 7.
Okay, so do we need to pull all the cigarette out from the rack or can we cover it?
7 days, it has to go in the back or in boxes. It can't be out front.
Okay, can we cover it or no?
No.
No, okay, I just want to
Cover
make
it
sure.
for under 3 days, under 7 days, but 7 days or more has to go in the back. 30 days or more have to be removed. We're gonna send you an outcome letter that explains it all
Okay.
to you. I just wanted to state for the,
I apologize, we have to be out of here at 6:30.
Okay.
And I apologize, we're being bumped by another meeting, I'm so
okay,
sorry.
no, that's fine.
So I'm all set?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Before we adjourn, we'll have to cut everything short. I just want to remind the public that our bike rodeo is this Thursday, 5 to 7, here at the town hall. Please come see us. Dudley the dog will be here. We have bike helmets from Boston Children's Hospital. Again, it's this Thursday, 2 days, 5 to 7. We'll discuss everything else at another meeting. Do I have a
I
motion?
make a motion to adjourn.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned at 6:29.